Thank you, Infinite Intelligent. Thanks for joining this live if you do. This is the second live because the first one I used it to talk about my spiritual experience, literally. That's what I call it. My experience of working with a bunch of Liberians, literally. Guys with oof, and Vusi will say, ooh, right? There was nothing exciting about working with a bunch of guys. I only saw them trying to prove their worth to themselves, playing. I actually found myself happy seeing them smile when they laughed about football or something. But that was just much of it. It wasn't. It was more like they were trying to cover up the emptiness they felt inside or something like that. So spiritual readings. Let me not go back to turning this whole topic to something outside what the topic is, right? So spiritual readings, right? I get them a lot. Unplanned. How did that happen? I get spiritual readings a lot, especially when I didn't plan for them. And I don't just get them a lot, I get them repeated. The sequence of which the order was said, right? Having the same pattern to the point that I'm like, wow. And the thing is, but yet they point out one thing. Like I was saying, the spiritual readings I get are usually from different people that I haven't personally connected to. And some I even try connecting to them because of how accurate the spirit reading is. But when I try connecting to them, they are thinking I'm looking for money or whatever the case might be. They want me to pay for readings. And I'm trying to tell them, how did you get that reading right, right, so right? But you just want me to pay for it. And I'm seeing it as a confirmation, not like something that is new to me. The only reason why it is a confirmation is because it feels true to me, right? So I'm now like, why should it feel like you can't connect to people just because you're giving spiritual readings? Like you have a gift, so you're not connecting. I could see the ego inside it as well. And so even though they were giving spiritual readings, I could filter when the readings was manipulated. In short, there's no time I can filter it. I'm always identifying the pattern. It's more like a game to me when I can decode spirit truth from ego and filter the lies that will be used. Because ego, right, would always interfere in the message. It would use its own ideologies to analyze the message and interpret the message. Just like the example I made in the last video, right? Where if you are sensing in spirit of someone going through a lot, automatically your idea is that the person had to be bitter to go through a lot or is stressed out. Because you can't understand someone like me, right, that would go to work under pressure, right? Like working under pressure, literally, and still energetic throughout the process, even after the work is done. It wouldn't make sense that I mean this one is normal because you're not expecting that to happen. So when it card reader is saying, you're exhausted, you're stressed out. I'm just like, I am not. But you think that I should be because that is how someone that should experience such thing is. I literally keep saying it loud, like, I understand what you are going through, but I am not going through that. Because I can see how their words filter into the message. And this is not just for tarot card readers, right? This is for every spirit reading I get, every spirit connection. I am aware of how the person's ideology of life enters into the message unknowingly by then. Because you cannot see higher than your perception. Your perception is your cage. That's one thing that I've come to realize. It's your freedom and your cage at the same time. And so I could see why, exactly why a spiritual message would have negativity inside it. Not because it is negative, but because the medium at which it's passing is not purely in one with spirit. So it has its distortion. And for me, long years ago, spiritual readings has been my, you know, teaser from spirits, like just to remind me that you're not alone. You're not alone. I'm here to stay. Like every time I get a spiritual reading, I'm conscious of the fact that love is all there is. I'm conscious of the fact that I exist within love. I'm conscious of the fact that for someone that is so far away from me to say something so accurately about me, spirit is always aware of me and always telling me that I am spirit existing within spirit. So I do not see it anyway but a blessing, even with the distortions, right? Because they become like an exciting game of puzzles, jigsaw puzzle to uncover and unfold. I don't see spiritual readings like a negative thing just because the person, right, that is probably being paid to see the spiritual reading. Most times I feel that it's in me that some people are paid to say certain things, to distort the message, to think for a reason. And the thing is, I know the reason, but it doesn't give a, I don't give a fuck because I can filter the real truth within the message. Because what is your brain for if not to scrutinize everything that comes with to your hearing? You're supposed to scrutinize every message, take what resonates, right, and trash what doesn't. Because message, right, is all about energy. Words express energy, and as you can, as long as sorry, and as long as you can identify that words express energy, you can join in this disclustering of spirit truth and ego garbage, right? You can identify this is actually spirit truth. This is actually rash trash, right? You can literally identify it to the core. And this is why I've just been someone that cannot judge anybody else because I understand everybody is at a different spiritual level of awareness at the same time. There are spiritual people that speak spirit words and hate, right, low vibrational people. Can you imagine? Imagine someone that is spiritually conscious hating. Imagine when you should know that energy flow wherever attention goes. You know that kind of thing. So we're different growth levels, and you cannot force people to grow. You cannot speed up people's growth because that would be force, and force would always be the absence of love expressed. This is why even when my sister was non-supportive of who I am today, I did not try to make her support me by all costs. I wanted only her free will because without her free will, it doesn't make sense to me. It's vague. It's disgusting. I don't even know how to explain it. But if you're doing something out of performance, I'm irritated. I'm like, out of stars. Like seriously, my face will just stick on that expression without even me knowing. And that's why some people will be like, how can you be looking at me like that? And I'll be like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to look at you so much, but my face has given off like has given me away far before I speak. So I came back and I literally had to have my bath. I was drenched in sweat. I was uncomfortable. I was pressed. Imagine you coming back from work that you work the same work with everybody else, and yet you got less paid, and yet you are sweat. Only you did not carry extra clothing because everybody carried an extra set of clothes to change. Only you looks haggard. Not just apart from the look. I'm not saying looks define any me, right? Because they don't. It's not even about the look. It's about the fact that you are pressed, you feel uncomfortable, and you cannot do anything till you get home. So when I came home, my wife got me to do the needful because the truth is, she can feel everything about me. I love the fact that I cannot hide any single thing from her. It doesn't feel scary. It feels exciting to know that I don't need to be assuring her every single time that she's the only one in my life, right? And it's peaceful when my constructive interference is, in good condition. That's how I see it. That's why I'm so happy that she can see everything within me because it ensures that my constructive interference is always safe because she's assured and I do not have any issue with assuring her as much as I can. So when I get readings, it's not something I order. It's not something I'm trying to pay for that am looking for that I go the extra mile to pay for a reading. It just comes to me. Spiritual readings often come to me. They have never been anything that I would pay for. Why? Because I feel we should all be directly connected to source. If we are all directly connected to source, it doesn't mean that source cannot use anything outside to talk to us. But the anything outside that would be using to talk to you wouldn't be a new gist. It would be a confirmation of what is already within you. And that way it feels more like a oneness understanding more than a I'm trying to learn or I'm looking for something outside myself kind of feeling. So the whole experience in spiritual reading is to be aware that we are spirit existing within spirits because it's impossible for someone that is not within you to have information from something within you unless there is a connection. Do you get? So the spiritual reading expresses that there is oneness in spirits, no matter how people try to say no, right? So my sword hands are all blistered with wounds from my experience. But yes, I use them to still lift with this. I didn't want to. I got back home and I didn't want to be like I won't work out in a day just because I did a stressful work, right? And what made the work stressful was not even the work itself, was the conditioning of the work. To work when you are pressed, sweating, and you are the only one doing all the work. That was just it. There was nothing special to it. The conversations were like you wouldn't want to be in such conditions. And my face literally shrank, like literally, right? So in everything, I'm glad that I experienced that to identify that I don't like such, right? And for such to happen, it has to be something that's led by the spirits to be in a particular space for probably an energetic reason. Because I see everything symbolic. I feel for me to be in a space, right, there is something spiritual about it as well. So to me, I try to learn about every space I'm in. That's pretty much, you know, who I am. Let me not diverse the topic, right? Not diversify the topic because spiritual readings come from anything, literally. They can come from even ants climbing on the wall. You won't believe it. Or spider or anything that can breathe or live is the tool that God used to speak. Literally. This is why never try to put yourself above God because you are a tool. It doesn't even make sense. This was like saying you don't want to, you're not grateful to be a tool of God. That's just the crazy part of it, right? And I consider that very, very, very not spiritually conscious because spiritual awareness, right? And in different sizes and shapes. You can have spiritual gifts and not be spiritually aware or spiritually inclined. You can have spiritual gifts and not like you're not spiritual aware, but you are not you're not uh, in connection with that source deeply. You're just walking out of gifts, not of deep resonance with what gives you that gift. I don't know if you call it, if it makes sense. I'm trying to find a name to call it, right? But it doesn't add up yet. But if I find it, I'm going to mention it and write it down and express. I was trying to see, right? Because usually, so I didn't really feel exhausted out of the work. I felt exhausted out of the energy, the fact that I was uncomfortable, right? The fact that I was pressed throughout to just use the toilet to do the needful. The toilet there was disgusting, messed up. Literally using the toilet in that place was not easy. And I couldn't pee standing because I jumped to the occasion without even preparing. I didn't carry any extra clothing. And even if I carried, I couldn't change anywhere because there were guys everywhere and it didn't make sense why a guy wants to change and he's hiding in a group of guys, right? So that was majorly why I couldn't do that. I see myself digressing out of the topic again, but thank God I was able to cover this topic well. I feel, I guess. So I don't pay for spiritual readings because I am not. looking for anything outside me, would I be willing to for spiritual readings for someone else? Absolutely. I love to be a channel. I love to be used by what gives me life. I'm devoted to be used by what gives me life with all of my existence. It is my dream, my fantasy, and why I exist, literally. And the reason why I don't try to seek knowledge outside God I exist within is because it doesn't even make sense. Love is the highest intelligence. Nothing is above love. And the love that is breathing through you is the peak of it. It's the height of it. Nothing is above that love that is flowing through you. So being connected directly to source is a big advantage. Thank you very much. I'm glad that I could make this life once more. And I'm glad for everything that happens in my life because it's only God, literally. My life has only been by the grace of God, literally. As crazy as it seems, I'm grateful for everything in existence. To be able to send positive energy to all of existence at any given time is a blessing to me. Now, right now, I'm sending all the positivity in my heart to all of existence to multiply it in thousands and thousands and billions and infinite folds to increase the vibrational frequency of love I exist within is always my desire because love is the frequency of existence. It is its existence. It's existence itself in every sense. God used itself to bet all that can exist, and God is love. Thank you very much.